stripe, yellow paint. I hear they scared of it, but them pros ain't. Soon as I hit the club, look at the move face. Hit the pedal once, make the floor shake. Sway inside, my engine roaring. It's the big boy, you know what I paid for it. And I got the pedal to the metal. Got you out here checking game, I'm balling out on every level. Hear them haters talk, but there's nothing you could tell them. Just made $1 million, got another $1 million on my schedule. No love for them, boy, I'm breaking hearts. No keys, push to start. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nuts. When I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Got a call from my jeweler, this just in. And women love me cause I'm messing with their best friends. Not a lesbian, but she a freak though. This ain't for one night, I'm shining all week, bro. I'm sipping Clico and rocking yellow diamonds. So many rocks up in my watch, I can't tell what the time is. Got a pocket full of big faces, throw it up cause everybody that I'm with tailored. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nuts. When I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nuts. When I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Black stripe, yellow paint. I hear they scared of it, but them pros ain't. Soon as I hit the club, look at the move face. Hit the pedal once, make the floor shake. Sway inside, my engine roaring. It's the big boy, you know what I paid for it. And I got the pedal to the metal. Got you out here checking game, I'm balling out on every level. Hear them haters talk, but there's nothing you could tell them. Just made $1 million, got another $1 million on my schedule. No love for them, boy, I'm breaking hearts. No keys, push to start. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nuts. When I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Got a call from my jeweler, this just in. And women love me cause I'm messing with their best friends. Not a lesbian, but she a freak though. This ain't for one night, I'm shining all week, bro. I'm sipping Clico and rocking yellow diamonds. So many rocks up in my watch, I can't tell what the time is. Got a pocket full of big faces, throw it up cause everybody that I'm with tailored. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do it big. Yeah, screaming that's nuts. When I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Yeah, you know what it is. Everything I do
Got
it
it.
big. Yeah,
Forget to mute the Twitch.
when I pulled off the lot, that's stunt. Reppin' my town, when you see me, you know everything. Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. I put it down from the whip to my diamonds. I'm in black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow. Black stripe, yellow paint.
That's awesome. And I think because of that change, that technical change, people are much more willing to stay in the game, and they what we call more playable for them. They don't feel like they're playing a game that's still in development or in early access or whatever you want to call it. So people seem to be overall really happy with that.
That goes along with what I'm saying. If you've noticed on places like Reddit and Spectrum, and even in test media and other server medias, most people now are teaming up. They're getting into parties, and they are putting pictures of group people all over Lorville. One group meets another group. Pretty soon you'll see 50 people standing in line at a terminal. I mean, this is really awesome gameplay now. People are really happy with this. And
Yes.
it's only like what they would call stage zero of everything. All this stuff's going to improve as time goes on. It's just really incredible. And of course, all the new flyable ships.
Yeah, which is a whole nother thing, and we're going to get to that when we start talking about the expo. Archie, you wanted to make an announcement, and let me say this real quick. As most of you know, this week is the anniversary week for Star Citizen. For the last 8 days, they've been basically each day highlighting a particular manufacturer. In today's show, we're going to go through each one of those manufacturers in a much more brief way. But each day they've been highlighting a manufacturer, and each day you could test fly the ships of those manufacturers during this period. So we've been basically inviting new people into the game. Gives them an opportunity to go to what is literally an expo. They actually set up an expo center, and each day you could see the ships of each manufacturer on display. You could say you wanted to rent one for free, and you could take it out for a test drive or a test fly, whichever way you want to look at it. But one of the things we wanted to do, Archie and I wanted to do, is support Cosmic. Cosmic, as you guys know, is our sage of Star Citizen, and we wanted to support him because Cosmic has been basically working toward a special promotion that Star Citizen has. And Archie, why don't you share a little bit about the referral code?
It's a free Gladius. If anybody can getting a new account can use the promotion code for Cosmic, and I'll put it up in text right.
Okay, and that code, just so you guys will know, and again, we want to be able to support Cosmic in this.
Thanks,
if I can
guys.
find
I
it.
appreciate it.
He didn't know we were doing this, guys, so I'm sure he's over there half blushing and half embarrassed at the same time.
Yeah, let's help him out. He only needs three more referrals, so
his
he
code,
can get his brand new
to get Gladius. So the code is.
I need 5, but thank you very much.
Okay, he'll take anything he can get right at this point, I'm sure. His code is STAR, STAR, and then there's a hyphen, RCWF hyphen MVKY. So if I were to say that in military terms, it's Star, Romeo, Charlie, Whiskey, Foxtrot, Mike, Victor, Kilo, Yankee. So, and Archie is putting it up in the chat. So you guys, please, if you can, if you know anybody who's looking for a new account, or if you're trying to create a second or third account for yourself, use it for Cosmic. Help him get that Gladius that he wants to get. Cosmic has contributed so much to Test Squadron, and this will be a really cool way to say thank you.
I'm embarrassed, and I'm turning red.
All right, well, we won't have you turn too red. That's a good thing you're not on camera, so you don't have to worry about anybody seeing it. So, all right, so.
Yeah.
Again, we're going to get today's show is going to be talking about the anniversary show. So what we want to do right now is take a quick commercial break. We're going to talk about Archie. You mentioned it, the Anvil Aerospace Aero, right?
Aero, yeah.
All right, we're going to take a look at it right now. We'll be right back, gang.
There are some designs that transcend time. We look to the past for inspiration to craft the light fighter of the future. Unmatched design, best-in-class maneuverability. Leave your enemies bewildered. After all, how can you kill what you can't catch? The 2949 Aero from Anvil. Rise above. Available now. See your authorized Anvil dealer for details.
All right, see your authorized dealer. Evidently, Archie, you went and saw your authorized dealer.
It looks like the arrow was spinning with the Gatling gun.
A nice little maneuver right at the end of doing the kill, right? So Archie, tell us about your Aero. What the price of it, and what do you think of it after you got a chance to take it out and fly it?
Yeah, I had to get the new Aero. It's a very fast, little ship. It's a single fighter, single seater. Good weapons. It has good weapons. Very maneuverable. Very.
It's a light fighter, right? One of the light
It's a
fighters
light fighter.
matches
Yes.
up with Aegis's
With that
Gladius, right?
Gladius.
Okay, yeah. So it's kind of enters another type of light fighter that we didn't have in the game before. Aerospace Anvil's kind of always had the heavy fighters out of their series, right? The F8 and all their other F ships that they have, F7, so on and so forth. But
Yeah, the Hornet. The Hornet is heavier fighter than the Gladius.
Yeah, that's cool. And how much did it run? Was it 70 or 75? How much, or 65? How much was it? Do you remember?
65 was Warbond.
Okay.
And
credit was 75, something like that, maybe. Okay. Yeah. All right. Cool. All right. Well, it's another purchase to your immense fleet of ships that you already own. How many ships is it now you own, Archie? Altogether, you think? I'm too scared to ask.
79.
Oh my God, 79 ships. Guys, considering, well, there's a couple of them are duplicates, though, right? Is that true? A couple of them are duplicates?
Yes, I have a few duplicates that I'm going to be melting to get others
to come along, right? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
And there was something else you told me that you unmelted. Well, wasn't there something you wanted that you had already in your fleet?
Yeah, I finally got my Starliner, Genesis Starliner.
Your Genesis Starliner back. Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, that's a nice ship. Yeah. I've got one of those. Very, very cool. Okay, so listen.
I need to jump in here
Sure.
and tell you that I don't like the Arrow. I do not like it because in the commercial, a single pilot with one little tiny ship comes in there and blows up my beloved Cutlass Black.
Yeah, I know, but hey, it was a good pilot. But you know what's great about that, Cosmic? One of the things that's really cool is, this goes back to our whole thing of people wondering whether or not, depending on the value of a ship, does that mean your ship is better? And Cutlass Blacks run.
Did you notice that the guy in the Cutlass Black turret didn't even fire a shot?
Yeah, right. I know. No,
nice
I know.
Little ship, isn't it?
It is. And to this point, a lot of times people say, well, these ships cost various amounts of money. And by the way, let me correct myself. We talk about ship cost. I don't want to look at ships as something that we're purchasing as much as that we're supporting the development of the game. And a lot of times people think that if a ship's premium price is higher than another one, that it's always a better ship. And one of the things that Chris Roberts and the folks at CIG want to ensure is that this is skill-based. It's not based upon the equipment, even though that can help. But we've seen people, and Cosmic has told us tons of times, pilots who are flying a $30 or $40 ship destroy people who have a $150, $200 ship, and that's based upon their skill in the game.
It's all skills.
Absolutely.
Since you bought the Arrow, you're perfect to answer Rear Intruder's question. 3.3.5 got him thinking about the range of these little ships, like your Arrow that you just bought. How will those little things be able to explore any distance away from jump points? I think he means rest stops. How far can you get away from a rest stop exploring or hunting or bounty hunting or whatever with your little Arrow?
Well, I haven't tried it yet, but I will be trying it, jumping from rest stop to rest stop.
I think in 3.4 we'll find out more because that's when the final flight model's implemented, correct?
Exactly, exactly. And there will be some ships that will have a longer range, that can go longer distances. They may only have to stop for fuel once. Some may not have to stop at all for a certain distance. Other ships may have to stop 2 or 3 times on the way. So that, again, means that you're going to have to be thinking about where you're going. This isn't the typical game where you just jump in, pick a location, and you're going to fly. Cosmic, you mentioned something earlier I would love for you to comment on, too. You talked about the fact that people are getting used to the travel times. Can you talk a little bit about that so people understand exactly what you meant?
Yeah, and I want to tell you this, when they came out with 3.3.6 for the anniversary, they made sure that we all spawned at Port Olisar, and just prior to that, they had us spawning at Lorville because we got tired of jumping, 16 times a day. The reason they did that was for new people coming in, they would have to experience that jump, anywhere from 8 to 12-minute jump to get to Lorville. Then you had to go through this 100,000-meter atmosphere. That took 4 to 5 or 6 minutes to get down there, to land and do the stuff. And they wanted people to experience this, you understand? And I thought, oh my heavens, here comes the salt truck, And then I watched it up on Reddit and Spectrum, and I monitored. And I saw 99.99% of people absolutely delighted. One guy was saying, geez, this is great. Wow. And especially on a multi-cruise ship, this is terrific. We love this. And they went crazy over it all.
Like it feels real, you know.
It
feels
does,
real.
yes, Archie. And there were people up on Reddit explaining, well, that's just between two planets. Imagine crossing a system, and these guys are like, man, on these big ships with multi-crews, this is going to be awesome. They love it because they're outplaying now multi-crew. In their constellations, they're freelancers, they're whatevers, and they're just hammerheads. Man, they're loving this stuff.
Oh, and don't forget, Cosmic, that as you jump, components in the ship are going to start affecting the wear and tear. So the engineer is going to have to go around and fix.
And speaking of that, Archie, this is the second big topic. Everybody's up there saying, they're selling coolers and they're selling this. I can't wait till that we can start putting in new jump drives, because they came out with a chart. The bigger the ship, like a Gemini or whatever, the bigger the jump drive. And so it only would take maybe 6 to 8 minutes to make the jump. And if you had a tiny little ship, it took you 13 minutes. And everybody's like, I can't wait till we can upgrade our jump drives, baby. They're going crazy over this. It's wonderful. I'm telling you, Griffin, just it's about it. I thought it was going to be the opposite. This sucks. You got to make it faster, da-da-da. But people are, it was a success all around.
You're absolutely right. I mean, people are responding to it. I know that was a concern that we had. We talked about how people would deal with travel times. One of the things that's going to be great too, and I don't care if it's a travel time on the train like Archie talked about, or travel time in a ship. One of the things that's going to happen is that people are going to start communicating more. They're going to start talking about and planning. That time that seems like dead time, it may feel that way when you're a single person playing solo in the game. But as a community, when you're playing with an org or with a group of people, that's going to be the time you're talking about strategy, what it is you need to do. Archie mentioned a few minutes ago, that's going to be the time when engineers are going to be repairing ships. There are all types of things that are going to take place during that, whether it be a 1-minute period or even, as much as we've seen so far, even a 12-minute period of time traveling between locations. So I think that this forces a social dynamic in the game that doesn't normally happen, because now people are going to have to be talking and communicating more, so it's not going to feel like wasted time. Yep.
I'll tell you what I've been watching too, and for Test Squadron here, I will tell you, I go up and monitor what these guys do a lot. And a few nights ago, I was absolutely just delighted. I dropped into one of the channels, and they, right in the middle of all this expo, they seen it, done it, been there, got the t-shirt and lost it. So they all jumped in the big fleet and they headed on out, and they decided they were going to go on drug runs out by Yalla. And they were having the time of their lives. People were going down there and getting attacked, so they had fighter squadrons with them to help ward off the people. I mean, it's just incredible how this has now come together in multi-crew play. People are, even if it's not at Lorville, now it's like, hey, guys, let's go back to Yalla and let's do this and let's do that. And the 3 moons, the moons are a success, big time.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you mentioned about the moons. We were so used to what we had before at Delamar, Daymar, Yellow, wherever else we had to go selling. And now we compare a moon to a planet, and we start to get a bigger picture. I remember thinking to myself, and Cosmic, you and I had this conversation before, bounty hunting and looking for someone on a moon is difficult enough. I can't imagine on a planet what it's going to be like. And we're talking about just one system right now with only one planet. There's enough real estate. The amount of real estate there is right now is unbelievable. So when we start talking about adding 3 more planets, then start adding another 50 or 100 systems, there's going to be so much real estate to cover in this game that it's just going to seem ridiculous. I know people first said, 100 systems, that's not a lot. Yeah, this is way too much ground. We'll never cover this ground. It'll take years for us to cover all the ground that's going to be in this game. So I want to move on, though, guys, and I want to kind of speed up because we got a lot to cover today in relation to the anniversary. And maybe at the end we can talk a little about Lorville again. But let's go ahead and start jumping into our manufacturer. Our first day manufacturer was Anvil Aerospace. We're going to jump and show you the intro that they had for that, and then we'll come back and talk about them.
Okay.
In particular is known for mostly the ruggedness and militaristic ships that they make. Archie, out of all the Anvil ships, what's the one that you favor more than any of them so far?
My beloved Hornet.
Hornet?
So it just brings me back from freelance back in the early '90s, mid '90s.
And the Hornet is they're pretty much what their premier fighter, right?
It's yeah, Premier Fighter. Yeah.
Now you got the Hornet or the Super Hornet, or do you have both?
The Hornet, and then it came the Super Hornet, the two-seater.
Okay, awesome. Cosmic, what about you? Anything? You have anything in the Anvils group, or if you don't, is there any Anvil ship in particular you like?
Well, yeah, I have to say again, it's the Hornet, and I don't own any of them, but I have a loaner of a basic and a super. But my favorite one has always been the Ghost, and I can't really explain why. I just love the Ghost Hornet.
Yeah, and the Ghost it's not a stealth ship, but how do you describe what the Ghost is exactly?
Well, it is stealthy.
Right.
It's just not at this point because all the technology's not in there yet. But even a year ago when we had the opportunity to test fly all those Hornets, I just fell in love with the Ghost. It handles differently somehow. I don't know how to explain it, but I've always loved that one. But the Hornets, yeah, they're my favorite. I like the Hornets. A Super Hornet is really awesome.
Hey, that's funny. I've never got a chance to go out with anyone in a Super Hornet before. I've flown the Hornet a few times, but I really, combat-wise, it's not my ship, even though, and we'll get to mine later. I know that's one of the favorite ships of most people in Star Citizen is the Hornet. For me, the ship that I do own that's Anvil is the Terrapin, and I'm really looking forward to that particular ship. As you guys know, it's designed to do scanning, long-range scanning, heavily defended. And I'm really kind of looking forward to that. Even though one person flies it up, it's probably a better of a two-man operation for being able
that's
to
a flying
scan.
turtle.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to using that, particularly with the organization if we're doing any type of reconnaissance or anything like that. So that would probably be
And
my
it can
ship.
go into very dangerous territory.
Yeah, it can go and take a punishment, right? Basically, it's
Exactly,
designed to
yes.
do that. And it's designed to kind of shield itself so that the infrared heat signature isn't as pronounced, and that's how it's able to get around
Yeah.
without being detected. So, yeah,
Another important ship is going to be the Hornet Tracker.
yes, absolutely. Oh, wait a minute. That's not my favorite ship. I'm going to come back to that. I hate to even have to do an amendment. What were you going to say, Cosmic? Because I knew you were going to say something.
I just wanted to interrupt briefly. A guy named Raytheon 2 is having trouble. He can't hear us at all.
Really?
He says he can hear other streamers, and he doesn't know what the problem is.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Raytheon, if you're not hearing us. It seems like everyone else is. And I've got somebody on my phone telling me that they're hearing me. Oh, he says he had trouble hearing earlier, but he's okay after he refreshed.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Glad we can hear you. Let me share with others. The ship is a favorite, but we don't have it yet. And that would be the Carrack, right? Archie,
Correct.
you completely
Yes,
forgot
that's
about the
big
Carrack, right?
Exploration, the big exploration ship.
It's hard to believe that they make the Carrack, isn't it?
It
With
is.
all the warships they make, like the Arrow and the Hornets and all that stuff.
Absolutely. And we're going to do a little spot on the Carrack a little bit later, so we'll come back and talk about that because there was some highlighting on the Carrack over the past week as well. Let's move on to our next manufacturer, and I think our next manufacturer is RSI, right? Robert Space Industries.
Robert Space Industries.
Yes. I lost sound. Griffin, I lost your sound.
That's a commercial there, Cosmic.
We're still here. So there, we saw the ships of the RSI. Some of those ships were the Aurora, the Andromeda. RSI makes quite a few ships. Roberts Space Industry, named after Chris Roberts. Archie, you first. Which one of the RSI ships? Which one is the ship you like?
My collection RSI. I can't tell
favorite?
you right now. I got a lot of them.
Favorite?
Which one? I forget which ones are RSI.
The Connie series, the 300 series.
Yeah, the Constellation Andromeda is the very all around good ship for crew.
That was one of the first ones that we really saw the work of multi-crew in, right?
Yep, it comes with a snub fighter as well.
And wait a minute, now you own a couple of those. Now that I think about it, you own a Phoenix.
I have the entire collection of the constellations. Yeah.
So which one do you like best? You can't just say the constellations. Which one?
Andromeda.
Andromeda. Okay, just because of the fact that it's the most general purpose. That's your thing with that one?
Right.
Okay, cool. Cosmic, what about you?
Constellation Taurus, even though it's not flyable yet. Of the ones flyable, I have the Loner Andromeda, the Loner Akia, and I like the Akia. I just like the style of the front end, the cockpit. But I'm real happy with the Taurus. Yeah, the Constellation.
And what's special about the Taurus?
It carries a great deal of cargo. It has a smuggler hold. The only thing wrong with it, in my opinion, is a definite lack of missiles. It's pretty hard to defend any kind of a ship that size without some missiles on it. But I think eventually they'll add some missiles.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
I just love the Connies. The Connies fly real well. Also in that area, I had one for a very, very long time, and I have loved and still love the Aurora LN. I still think of all the small ships, the Aurora LN is the best.
Yes, absolutely. I've got the LX, the luxury one. You know why I bought it? You guys want to know why I bought the LX?
Why?
Take a guess, Archie. Why do you think I bought the LX?
It has a sunroof.
Nope.
A sunroof?
Nope. Leather seats. All right. So, for me on the RSI series, I hate to say this, but the Andromeda was the first large ship I bought. That was the very first multi-crew ship I bought. I melted it a while back, then I had an Akia for a little while, and I got rid of that. And now I don't think I own any RSI ships, which would be terrible to think. I don't think I own any. But I will say this. I was impressed with the work they did on the Phoenix. Before I kept saying, nah, I'm not interested in the Phoenix, I'm not interested. The old design was nice, but the new design they did on it is really nice. And I've kind of gotten into this whole luxury thing for some reason recently. So maybe I'll get one. I'll probably work for one now. I'm not going to buy one, that's for sure. But that would probably be the one that falls in the category for me. So that would be it for me with RSI. Let's move on to our next manufacturer, and that would be Origin. Let's see what they got to say here.
All right.
Hey, Origin. A few seconds ago, I said 300 series for RSI. I don't know where my mind was, but 300 series is with Origin. Yeah, I got it mixed up. I was getting my ships all mixed up. Too many ships.
Yeah.
Too many
ships. You got
the
100s. You got the 300s.
Yes. And Archie, what about you? We're talking Origin now. What ship do you like out of the Origin series?
Yeah, I used I kept my 300s, and I have my 600 exploration one. Okay. I used the 100s to get other.
Okay, so which one is your favorite? You're telling me about your fleet. Which one do you like?
The 315P.
Ah, yeah. Why that one in particular?
It has it's small enough. It's good for city bopping. Oh yeah.
Okay, and the 315P as we call it in short, is their exploration variant, right? It's got supposedly extended jump range, if I'm not mistaken, and it also supposed to have a tractor beam on it, which is something that we haven't seen in the game yet, right? So that'll be great for exploration.
I've had one of those for a very long time. I love it. Right now, because there's no tractor beam, you can actually put a gun up front and have three guns on it, so that's very nice.
Absolutely.
The other ship that I'm in love with right now is the 300i exploration version.
Yes.
Yeah, the 600, but the 315 is a very nice ship, especially the rework. Did you see the rework?
Yes. In fact, Cosmic, and I will say this to you, you were the one who actually turned me on to the 315P, because I had bought a 300, and I remember you telling me about the whole exploration dynamic of that particular one, and I ended up going out and buying it. So thank you for that, because if you hadn't told me about it, I hadn't even, again, I was looking at luxury and I wasn't thinking about exploration, but when you told me it gives you a smaller profile and it's one to think about, I went out and bought one too.
And for our viewers here, we had a long discussion about these exploration ships on test the other day. A lot of people either didn't know or they have forgotten the exploration version ships, the Aurora LX, the one of the Mustangs, the Beta, I believe it is, the 315 and up like that, the DUR, the Akia. The benefit that these ships have, the ones classified as exploration, is they have a jump navigate computer on it.
Right.
So that when you find a wormhole, what they call a jump hole, if you successfully navigate that, you turn this little jump navigate thing on first, this computer, and it plots that course. Without
Yeah, it's
that
like a
data,
recorder.
you can't use that jump hole, that wormhole anymore. The UEE cannot install a jump gate. So
Right.
that's one of the benefits of a 315P, you see. It
Absolutely.
actually has that on it.
And
Yeah,
that's,
it's like a recorder.
And it does have more fuel on board, about 50% more fuel capability than the other 300 series.
absolutely. And those are some good nuggets there, Cosmic, to share with everybody, because a lot of people just think about, oh, it's a nice ship just to go explore, but they don't realize it's got some other
You have
advances.
no need for a tractor beam. That thing is quite deadly in Arena Commander and in a battle with pirates and stuff with 3 guns on it.
Definitely, definitely. Well, my
Oh,
favorite,
yeah.
even though I talked about the 315, my favorite is my 600i.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have heard me say this before. Every ship that I've backed in the game so far has always had some purpose for a career of some form, something I thought about. Oh, I'd like to mine, or I'd like to do bombing runs. But Archie and I were at VerseCon a year ago, and when the commercial ran during CitizenCon for the 600i, man, my wallet just flew open, and that was it. I didn't care what the ship did. I didn't care what it looked like inside. I was like, I want that ship for me, for no other purpose. And it got so much hate over the first few weeks when it came out, because people talked about it not being this and not being that. And now, from my understanding, that one of the great benefits about the 600 is that it's one of the fastest ships in the game. It does the jumps faster than most any other ship in the game. I think maybe the Starfarer might be the only one that competes against it when it comes to jumps. And lastly, the guns on this thing are supposed to be powerful. 2-3 pops. If you get hit, you're gone. So I'm happy that the ship, and the module's coming out for it, the luxury module's coming out soon. Cosmic, you own an exploration model of it, right?
Yeah, and I can't wait. It's got its own unique rover on it, which is nice. And that rover, when I say unique, it's outfitted with exploration stuff where a lot of the other rovers aren't. So if you land your 600 Explorer down on a planet and get in that rover with your buddies and go out exploring in it, it has scanners and exploration recorders and stuff for planet side.
Right.
So that's a benefit right there. This is a perfect ship for multiplayer. Perfect.
Yeah. One other point there, Cosmic and Griffin, remember that with this ship, with the 600, you will be able to get missions that won't be able to get with the other ship.
They've talked about missions, and some of you guys may know this already, some of you may not. Star Citizen is going to have a reputation aspect to it, so you may go certain places, and because of how you're dressed, whether or not you're a criminal or not, even the type of ship you may roll up in may have an effect on the NPCs or characters who will talk to you, or areas you may be able to gain access to. So Cosmic has always been an advocate for us reading the lore, so that you'll know there may be certain planets that, you roll up in a certain ship a certain way, you're welcome. Other people may not want to even be bothered with you, may not even give you permission to land. So
a good example of that would be the planet of Goss. That is like the French Riviera of Star Citizen. And if you roll up there in a luxury ship like an 890 Jump or a 600 series, I think you're going to get VIP treatment at Goss, okay?
That's good to know. That is good to know. All right, listen, we're going to take a break from the manufacturers and take a look at, we just mentioned the 890 Jump. We're going to take a quick look at that ship and come back and talk about it, because we saw a little bit more. We're getting little bitty pieces, more and more of the 890 is being developed. So let's take a look at this. Is the granddaddy of the luxury ships in Star Citizen.
Then you've got the 890 at the upper end of that scale, which how would you even describe the 890?
You have your super yachts in the real world, and then you have those like billionaire. Everyone's sat at Monaco with their big super yachts, and then there's one of these things that's just sat outside the harbour because it's so big it can't.
It's interesting to hear that they describe the ship as being the super yacht, just like if you were in Monaco and you see all these small yachts out in the harbor, and then there's that one big one that's way outside. That's what the 890 Jump is going to be like. Archie, do you own an 890?
No, but Stingray has one.
Stingray owns one. Oh, yeah. Okay. Cosmic, me and you, we're in the poorhouse, right? We don't have we don't own an 890.
I'm not in the poorhouse. I got one of those super yachts. It's called a 600i.
There you go. You'll still be in the harbor, right? At least you're in the harbor, right? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The 690 has been kind of classified. A lot of people looked at the 690 as being like a possible flagship for an organization. It is a luxury ship. It's highly.
890.
I'm sorry, the 890. Thank you, Cosmic. The 890. It is a flagship type of ship. It's considered to be well defended. In fact, it's not a slouch when it comes to being able to defend itself. I don't remember what the crew complement is on it. Maybe somebody in chat can tell us how many people it takes to operate it. But I know our organization has one. I know Montoya owns one. I've been trying to get him to sell it to me for $200, but he won't do it for some reason. He's got it in melt. But anyway, the 890 is, we keep seeing it in production. We're seeing it more and more of it. And I do remember what phase that's supposed to come out in, Cosmic. At what point? Is it 4? Is it after 4.0 that it comes out?
Oh, yeah, it's a long ways down the road, Jet.
Okay.
I'm not sure. But
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
quite a ways off.
Okay, so two of our luxury ships that we do have right now, again, would be the Phoenix. That would be the Andromeda, and I'm not sorry, the Constellation Phoenix. I'm sorry, and then also the Origin 600i. So let's go on to our next manufacturer, and let me see who's our next manufacturer anyway. Cosmic, you were
That's
talking
Aegis.
about these guys earlier. Yes, Aegis. So let's take a quick look at them and see what they've got.
What's they do the stuffed bombers and all that good stuff.
Okay, Aegis Dynamics. Aegis Dynamics. They are one of the most popular manufacturers. They also have probably the most amount of completed or ready to fly ships in the game. Archie, which of the Aegis is one of your favorites that you have?
Okay, so which one are they? I got so many of them. I lose.
We'll brief you up, Archie. They make the big ships. They make the Javelin. They make the Idris. They make the Avengers. They make the Stalkers. They make the Gladius.
Oh, okay.
They make ships like.
I have an Idris, and
You have an Idris? Do you have an Idris M or P?
I have the P, and I managed to scramble up some money and got the upgrade for the K, I think.
Okay. So the Idris P is the Idris Peacemaker edition, and the Idris M is the military edition. The K kind of gives you a military, well, an upgrade to your weaponry that puts you somewhere between the P and the M, right?
Right.
And they just ended up selling those this past week. Was it Monday? It was on Monday, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so that was like an upgrade kit that'll come in. My understanding is that upgrade kit will be available later too. Is that correct, guys?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
It was actually stated that once you purchase the upgrade kit, you can use it anytime you like.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay.
That's awesome. Now let me ask you a question. When you upgrade, does it allow you to downgrade? In other words, can you go back to being a P again, or once you do the upgrade, that's what it remains?
I don't know.
Okay, because I didn't read the Q&A on it. Maybe somebody knows in chat. I'm not sure how that's going to work out. I was just kind of curious as to how whether your ship is permanently been adjusted once you do the upgrade to it.
And while you're on the subject, very quickly, my favorite ships that I have and flown are the Avenger, the Avenger Titan that I have, and also the Avenger Titan Renegade. I have one of each. And the Saber. I really like the Saber. It flies nice.
Yes.
There's a lot of good ships there. Because they sell the big ships, I was talking to Griffin earlier about this, Archie. All last week, every day they had different manufacturers. They had different sales, The day they sold Aegis, they made over twice as much money as any other day. And that's because of all the sales of Idris and Javelins and stuff like that they sold. They also make Vanguards. And a whole lot of people were buying Vanguards last week.
The Vanguard is a very popular heavy fighter. And to your point, Cosmic, my favorite fighter, I know Archie mentioned earlier, the Hornet. Mine would be the Saber. I have a Saber Comet. That is the ship that I use for any type of fighter stuff. But
it's an excellent fighter.
The ship that I do own that I love tremendously is the Eclipse, the bomber. Really, really like that ship a lot. I'm really looking forward to being in a bomber squadron and putting that thing to good use. But you mentioned this too, Cosmic.
I still remember the lore about that. Remember them sneaking into that territory of
yes,
the bad guys?
yes, absolutely.
That's the stealth bomber.
Absolutely. And to your point, Cosmic, you mentioned earlier about the larger ships. There's some ships in here that we love, such as the Reclaimer. Archie, you own a Reclaimer?
Yes, I have one.
Okay, there was the salvage ship, and salvage is coming up within the next couple updates.
He's the mechanic.
That's your mechanic. And we've got salvage coming up within the next couple of updates, if I'm not mistaken. And so a lot of people really bought that ship, and a lot of people, when it first came out, there was a sale. We hadn't seen it go on sale for a long time. Then it went on sale again, and a lot of people purchased it. And Cosmic, you mentioned also about the sales this week. Prior to the anniversary a week ago, Star Citizen had just made over $2 million. Before the show started, Archie had $200 million. I'm sorry, $200 million. Before the show, Cosmic and I went and checked the funding, and now we're at 2.79. So probably by the end of this weekend, they will have made an additional $8 million over the past 8-9 days. So evidently, the anniversary sale went over, I think, pretty well, because usually they average around 5 to 6 million, so that they did pretty well.
Griffin, you mentioned salvage and reclaiming coming up in the very near future. As a reminder for that, your next ship category, by the way, is Drake. I want to remind people to go look at that because they're selling a ship called a Vulture, which is a light salvage ship. That's equivalent to the salvage. That's like a prospector for salvage.
Right. So if you want to get in, right?
In salvage and you can't afford the really big thing, you can look at the Vulture.
Yep.
Go check it out, people.
Yeah, the Vulture is a one-man operation and one way to get into that particular career if you'd like.
Yeah, it's equivalent to the prospector. It's just for light salvage. So if you're into that career, go check it out. It's a great little ship for that purpose. That's coming up in your next manufacturer.
For all you Eve pilots out there, the Vulture looks like the little mining ship in Eve.
Absolutely. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our next manufacturer, which is, as Cosmic just said, Drake Interplanetary.
Drake Interplanetary.
I can sum it up very quickly on
Hold
my
on,
end.
stand by. Stand by. Now you can tell us, Cosmic. What were you going to say?
There is not one ship. If you go up on their ship page, there is not one ship down that list that I do not like. I love them all. It's got the Caterpillar. It's got that awesome ship called a Kraken. It's got my favorite little Dragonfly Yellow Jacket. It's got all the Cutlasses. I got a black, but I love them all. It's got that Vulture I mentioned. It's got the Herald and the Buccaneer. There is nothing there I don't love.
Archie, what about you? Within the Drake Interplanetary series, what ship do you like the most?
Well, I don't have the Kraken and I don't have the Herald. I got everything in between.
Okay. Anyone in particular that you like the most?
I like the Vulture.
Vulture?
Vulture guy.
You thinking about the whole salvage one-man operation kind of thing?
Yeah. Also, I love the Cutlass Red because I like to help people.
Okay. I had a Cutlass Red, and this week I decided to melt and do an upgrade to the what's it called? The
Apollo.
The Apollo. Thank you. I upgraded to that. And so I will say this: I was never big on Drake. I do have a Caterpillar, but Drake, when you first heard about it, at least in the early years, everybody talked about Drake in relation to piracy. And I'm not really into piracy that much, so I really didn't pay too much attention to those ships. But I did buy the Herald when it came out. And I hate to say this too, I just upgraded that yesterday to a Mercury Star Runner. So I kind of brought those smaller versions of those careers up to a medium-sized version. But the ship that I think is one of the best ships is, and someone said this earlier, the Cutlass. The Cutlass Black is a great multi-purpose ship. When we went into 3.0, and we got that ship, it seemed like almost everybody was grabbing that to be their ship to do cargo runs in. It's got a decent amount of room. You can put bikes inside of it. It's multi-crew. It's very nice to fly.
People?
Yes, nice to fly. 6 chairs in the back that you can carry people. It's got the side doors on the side. So it's a very flexible ship, and I have to give them compliments. The update that they did to that ship, because a lot of people weren't happy with the original version of the Cutlass. Kudos to CIG. They did a really, really nice update to that ship in particular. So that was Drake. And the other thing, too, in Cosmic, you talked about the Caterpillar. That's another ship that's getting a lot of use, and I think that people are really going to be looking forward to the modularity of that ship. once these other modules come out that you can add to it so that it goes beyond just being for carrying cargo, I think it's going to be another very, very popular ship within the Drake series.
Yeah, you're gonna medical bay, quarters, your repair bay.
Absolutely. I love that. The Cutlass is the bad man's minivan. Very cool. That's very, very cool. I like that title. Okay, let's go on to an interesting category now. These were the ships that were called the exotics and imports. Let's take a look at that. So here's all the interesting named ships. Apoa, what was it? Asperia. Who else is that? Who else makes exotic ships? The Nox is Apoa, right? Who else?
Yeah.
Who's the other manufacturers on? I think who the other exotic one is. Asperia, Apoa is the third one. I can't think of who the third one is. Can you think of who it is, Cosmic?
I'm looking for it now. It's listed as Apollo, Asperia, the Vandal. Vandal makes
Vandal ships, yes, the Vandal ships, right?
And there's a company. What's the name of the company? Oh, that's Asperia, isn't it? Yeah.
Asperia, yep. So those ships in particular, Apoa makes the Nox, which is one of the bikes, the space bikes in the game. Asperia is the company that makes the replica ships of various alien ships. So I think that it's not the Blade. Which was I can't remember the names of the ships now because I don't have any of these ships, the exotic ships. Archie, do you own any of the exotics?
You have the Nox. You have I have a couple of them. The X1, I think. The Nox.
The Nox is one of the exotics. Yes,
that's Nox. The Apoa, right? But who makes the the Asperia makes is the Glaive Asperia? Because the Glaive is Asperia, right?
Asperia.
And the other one that they make, not the Blade. What is it, guys? Come on, guys, help us out online. Who makes
Eclipse? Asperia makes the Scythe, the Glaive,
and
the Blade, and the Prowler.
The Scythe, Blade, and Prowler. There we go.
The Prowler is a dropship.
Right. Now
the Blade, Glaive, and Prowler. Yeah, right.
Yeah, the Blade's a light fighter, medium fighter is the Glaive, and the Prowler is a dropship.
Right. Now, the Expo, the Prowler wasn't there because we haven't seen that one yet, but that is the dropship, as Cosmic said. There was a Blade wasn't there, but there was the other one. What was the other one? There was a Glaive, and what was the other one, Cosmic? There were 4 ships. Prowler. That was there. No, not the Prowler. The other was a Van Duel looking one.
The Scythe?
Scythe. Or was it the Blade?
The Scythe and the Glaive are basically the same thing, except the Scythe is a small and the Glaive is medium, and it has 2 big guns instead of 1. That's basically the
and those were at the Expo, because those were the only ships that they had that were
also,
at the Expo.
There's the Cartial.
Cartial was there also. Yes, the Cartial was there.
Ship.
Now, they also have a new ship that they just came out with, the Suntaki. I can't even say the word. It's the medium-sized version of what the Cartial is, and it's more of a medium fighter that they announced this week as well. We don't have any video on that one, but that was the announced special ship that came out from Concept during the anniversary sale. And
it's been a big hit, by the way.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of people have, and I think that people are really intrigued with this whole thing of how those particular ships are going to have a different level of maneuverability that other ships can't do. This whole thing of being able to strafe immediately on the dime is going to give them some advantages that other ships are not going to have. Right now, they may seem a little weak, but I think that a good pilot in those ships is going to give people a real headache when they really know how to fly those ships in particular. Okay, let's go ahead and go to our next... Oh, this is a commercial break. And this is the ship that we were talking about earlier. And it was an Anvil ship, and it's the Anvil Carrack. Let's take a quick look at that.
That's the Carrack. Exploration.
Big everything that you can do in the game. It's a big explorer, a big multi-crew ship. You can use your friends. It's got a scout ship. It's got a rover in it. It can carry cargo. It's got a little medical bay to heal stuff. It's got a little repair bay to repair stuff. It's sort of everything that Star Citizen can do crammed into one ship.
That the description on that was that the Carrack is the one ship that everything that Star Citizen can do is crammed into that one ship. And the Carrack has been the ship that people have been like crying over, probably more than any other ship, in the sense of seeing either some progress or some hints. And this is recently, we just got this announcement that they have begun production. They put, I think they said 5 people have begun working production on the Carrack now. Still don't know when it's going to come out, but at least we do know that it's finally in motion again. Archie, do you own a Carrack?
Yes, I have one in my fleet.
Okay, and let me ask you, what made you buy that particular ship? Because the Carrack's a unique ship.
It was just the way it looked. I'm an explorer. I love exploration, and that was the best. That was the first exploration ship I.
Okay, and I bought one. Same thing. Exploration has always been something I've wanted to do. The fact that this ship is a deep space exploration ship, and one of the things that it's been touted for is that it can stay in space for a very long period of time. And so that was one of the things that drew me to that ship. It has a bit of modularity to it as well. It has a scout ship that will come along with it as well, and it's also a fairly large ship. During the anniversary sale, they talked about the fact that the ship did grow in length. I think they said by 40 meters, and then they reduced it back down so that it's actually only grown by 10 meters. But still, 10 meters is a significant amount of size and growth in that particular ship.
Feet.
Absolutely. And so, again, people are very, very excited about the Carrack. And Cosmic, I think you were the one who told me about the Carrack as well.
Yeah, I got one, but it was a gift. Okay.
Oh, nice.
And you talked about the long range. Even Ben Lesnick told us this a couple of years ago. This is the top of the line, Royce Silver Shadow of exploration. There will never be another ship better than this one for that purpose.
Yeah.
And in that regard, it has fuel scoops on it. So if you're out in very, very deep space with all your org buddies or whatever, and you're running low on fuel, you can find a gas giant, orbit around the upper part of the atmosphere and scoop in fuel, and it can even make quantum jump fuel, which is one of the rarest items. Now, that's what they've told us. Whether this changes or not, we don't know. But because you're out there for a very long duration, it has to be self-sustainable. It has a small medical bay. It has a small repair bay. It has a place to store spare parts. This thing is an all-in-one ship.
It is pretty awesome. I think it's a pretty large ship too. Is it as large as a Hull D? Do you guys remember the size on it?
A Hull D? No, I don't think so.
It's a little smaller than the Polaris.
A little smaller than the Polaris. Okay.
Yeah.
I know it's a fairly large ship. I know it's the crew on it is a 5-man crew operation for that ship, and I know it's got multiple levels in it and stuff. So, again,
So what's the length now? 140 or 133?
What are you looking? Are you looking at the chart on the site?
Yeah.
It's probably add 10 to that because I'm sure it hasn't been updated.
Oh, okay.
It's probably the higher number that you quoted. That's pretty awesome.
Bummer. I tried to post Archie's link there, but it didn't work.
It's okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and go on to our next manufacturer. We're almost there, guys.
Very quickly.
Sure, go ahead.
Quickly. It's hard to read in this color. Somebody just posted over here. I can't read the name because of it says that the Carrack will also carry 1,000 SCU, so you could actually use it if it's the only ship you have. You could use it to do trade runs, make money before you go into deep space.
Nice. Miso Homely, thank you
for posting that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you, Miso Homely. That's good information. And again, these are the type of things you need to be paying attention to. It's one thing to look at a ship and it looks pretty, it looks gorgeous, but you really need to be taking into consideration the specs on the ship.
Is it self-sustainable?
Absolutely, yeah. Even if it has a bathroom, right, Archie?
Good example is the Mustang Beta. I love that little camper van, but since you can't put a cargo unit on it, it's not self.
And those are the things that are going to mean something later. For some people, they'll get a ship and they'll be like, "Oh my God, I thought I could do this," but you got to pay attention to the specs on these ships. And please be reminded. Go ahead.
It has more than one bathroom.
and please be reminded too. We always have to reiterate this: the game is still in development. Sometimes when something gets put out by CIG, people get upset, they get frustrated, they say, why did they do this, why did they do that? For those of us who've been in the long run of this game, we've seen things change. And they change because the community, as a voice overall, will say, hey, there's something that we don't like. Here's something just real basic. When the 600i came out, there was the design in the cockpit where they had struts. And there were people that said, why would you put these struts on such a beautiful ship? This is, if there's one ship that shouldn't have them, this is the one. And CGI went in and changed it. So, use your voice, community, if there are things that you think that will make the game better. Overall, and I'm saying overall because sometimes we want to make the ship better for ourselves and not the community itself. So, definitely put your voice out there. If there's something you think that they've made a misstep on, let them know and say, hey, and do it in a constructive way. Say, hey, we know you guys are doing this, but this, because we've just seen so many things change in the game. No ships are balanced. Don't get into this big speech about what has this weapon or what has this shield, because believe me, guys, we're not in your beta. We're so far away from that. Everything that's out there is being tested, and they want to hear your thoughts and opinions about what's out there. So use that power.
Talking about the subject there, Griffin, about my beloved freelancer.
Yeah.
They took away the bathroom, the kitchenette.
No, they got the bathroom. They took away the kitchenette.
The kitchenette. So now, the bathroom needs take away that bathroom and put a bathroom and shower combo like the Connie, and give us a little kitchenette with a microwave. That's all I need. Just a little one microwave, to wash my hands.
Since you like talking about bathrooms, Archie, I will remind people, especially if you're an old sailor, get a Cutlass Black, because they put those side doors in there for a reason. You just open the door and hang it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely one way to do it for sure. Okay, we're running down to the last part of the show here. Let's go on to our next manufacturer, and that's going to be MISC.
It's the MISC.
Yeah, let's look at MISC for a second. I know for a fact this is going to be Cosmic's favorite subject, so I'm going to go to Archie first. And Archie, let's talk about MISC a little bit here. Musashi, was it Musashi? I can't never think of what that whole name is. What is it? What is their full name?
Musashi Industrial
something.
Oh my God!
Here it is: Musashi Industrial and Starflight Concern.
There we go.
Right.
There we go. All right, that's the acronym, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, Archie, talk to us about your MISC, Archie. What do you have this
My
MISC?
freelancer. If everything comes down is to my beloved freelancer, that is the ship that got me into Star Citizen, by the way.
Okay, the freelancer, awesome. What in particular drew you to it? In particular, anything in particular?
The commercial. Remember the commercial that the guy is flying, drinking his coffee, and all of a sudden gets stopped by two cutlasses.
Right. The pirates, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
Yeah.
Cosmic, I know what you're going to say, but go ahead. Let's hear it about MISC.
All right. Let's be honest here. We all know that the Freelancer DUR is my favorite ship.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah.
Having said that, let's remind these people what MISC makes, MISC. Okay? They make all the Hall series. Okay? They make all the Freelancers. The
Prospectors?
They make the Starfarers, which, in my opinion, is one of the most practical ships in the verse, is a Starfarer. They make the Reliance. They make the Endeavor. Okay?
The Prospector?
They make the wonderful little Prospector that everybody's in love with. And one of the biggest sellers during last week's expo is this Razor. They make the Razor, ladies and gentlemen. There is a racing version, a stealth version, and a luxury version of the Razor. It was a huge hit last week for some reason.
Right.
So you tell me that there's not a ship in that lineup that isn't popular. The Reliant. People went crazy over the sale week for the Reliance. Okay? The Endeavor, we all love the Endeavors. The Starfarer is a very practical ship. And who could not love our truck, the Freelancer? Okay.
Well, yeah.
And of course, all the Hull series. I own a Hull B. Okay, but any of these ships, this is what they make. Excellent ships. Working man class ships. But there's enough in there to have fun with.
I own a Prospector, which I love mining, because that's one of the things that I want to do. And it's great as a one-man operation. Archie and a group of us went out one day with about 7 mining ships out to one of the moons, and Had a blast, literally, because Archie blew up an asteroid I was next to and blew me to Kingdom Come. I also own the Core, which is a nice small two-man ship with very small cargo area, but very quick and zippy kind of ship. And then I also own a Starfarer, because I love doing support, so refueling is going to be something I'm going to be interested in too. And then I also have a Hull C. At one point, it was my goal to try to own all the Hull series ships. I'm not there. I think I'm just told myself I'm going to work at that through the game. But I definitely am looking forward to being able to do cargo transport. So for me, I definitely like the Hull C out of all the ships that I have. That's probably the one I'm going to look forward to using the most out of all of them.
And that'll be flyable soon.
Yes, that's the first one out of the whole series that they're going to be putting out. So
The whole
C,
the
Charlie,
the Charlie, the middle one,
Yep, the whole C. Yep. So I'm kind of definitely looking forward to seeing more of that as it comes along here. And okay,
I think that Hull C is the one that's going to be used most by the NPC.
I'm not sure. I don't know if that's the one they're going to use most for NPCs or not. I know it's going to be one of the more popular ones for sure, because it's probably the one that's in between the smaller ships, and of course the Hull E, which is a massive ship. It's probably that's like the largest, isn't it, of all the ships now?
The Hull E is the largest.
Yeah, it's huge. That thing is gigantic, and the amount of cargo it carries is ridiculous. That's strictly an org kind of ship, I think. Okay, well, we're going to wrap up with our very last one here, and this is going to be this is actually a combination of ships on this one. They actually put a bunch of the manufacturers together, such as Consolidated Outland, Crusader, Banu, Kruger, and Tumbrel, and also, as Cosmic mentioned earlier, the Argo, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. So let's take a look at that, and this is our last group. Five manufacturers there that are outlined. I'm not going to ask from each group. I'm just going to kind of ask out of all of these ships manufacturers, is there one you like, Archie? They've got the Argos. There's the Consolidated Outland stuff. Banu.
I like the little Argo because it's a very unique ship. It's to transport personnel and small cargo to the capital.
I think it's going to be interesting to see how people use those ships. The two areas where I most definitely see them being used, obviously, as you mentioned, for the larger ships, it'll be interesting to see them used. But for that Hull series in particular, because we know that there's going to be cargo containers, is the way cargo is placed on there. It's all external. And so you can easily see that these small Argo ships, as you mentioned, will be used to attach them to the Hull C, D, and E. Right. And so you're going to need people who want to do that type of work. You know, interestingly enough, there will be people who say, "Hey, I would love to. You pay me, I'll load up or take your stuff off of your hull when it pulls into a certain area," because they can't land on a planet with that stuff. That all has to be done in orbit. So it'll be really interesting to see how that takes place.
Yeah.
Cosmic, what about you? Any particular manufacturer, Consolidated, Banu, Kruger, that you like?
Well, obviously, I think I have to jump on Banu because of the Merchantman. I don't own one, but yeah, it's a wonderful ship, things like that. I like them all. The reworked Mustang is very, very nice. And for those of you who have forgotten, I will tell you that Kruger makes two ships, the P-52 Merlin and the P-72 Archimedes, very popular with people. Okay. The next one on the list here is Crusader. Crusader makes a lot of very popular ships. The latest one is the Mercury Star Runner. They make the Genesis Starliner, and they make all three versions of the Hercules, which everybody loves. They were big sellers, by the way, last week too. People were buying a lot of Hercules. So those are what those ships make as well. But yeah, of all these, it's hard to say anything negative about any of them. I mean, the Tumbrel, I love the little Tumbrels. They're great. The Argo, yeah, very nice. There's a lot of uses for that little Argo. They got a passenger version. They got a cargo version.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, these manufacturers, they specialize in stuff. These are the specialists.
Absolutely. Well, the ones I want to talk about very quickly are Consolidated Outland. As you guys know, we just had updates to all the Consolidated Outland Mustang series. So the Alpha, the Beta, the Delta, the Gamma, all got physical upgrades. They're different ships now. Most people like the new redesign of them. In general, they still maintain their certain class that they did, but they just kind of redid the body structures, made them a little bit more sleek, and fixed a lot of bugs, such as something as simple as getting in them was a big problem before. But they seem to have ironed a lot of that out. The other group I want to talk about is Banu. We also started getting some more information about the fact that of the Banu Defender, and how the Banu Defender and the Banu Merchantman have a symbiotic relationship. That there will be something between the two of them that allows them to work together cooperatively, in the sense of how the Defender defends the Merchantman. We don't know exactly what all that detail is.
They did say the Defender could dock with it
Yes.
for refueling and stuff for long range.
Absolutely, absolutely. And so it'll be
And
very...
The Defender has 2 big tachyon guns on it, the only ship with tachyon.
Exactly. So it'll be interesting to see how this all starts to bear out. I'm also interested in the fact that I own a Banu, a Merchantman. I still want to make sure people understand that CIG seems to be, and this is my own personal opinion, seems to be being very particular about how they're developing ships. And let me say this. They are really trying to get people to think about what it is they're buying. And I know a lot of times we want to be able to get a ship that does everything. And I've heard so many people talk about the Banu Merchantman in a way that they want it to be the everyman ship, that it does everything. It's got a lot of cargo. It can do this. It can do that. But the Banu Merchantman is a trade ship. And I think there's a big difference between a transport, a cargo ship, and a trade ship. So I want to encourage people to look into the lore of that ship, look into the lore of the Banu, and find out why that particular ship is the way it is. I think there are going to be some people who are going to invest in that ship, wanting to do certain things with it, and later on they're going to find out maybe this wasn't the best ship to get. It's a great deal. If you got it in the early days, I think it was $250. That was a great deal back then. I think it's like, I don't know how much it is now, $350, $400, but it was a great deal to get at that time. But again, pay attention to the lore. Pay attention to the specifications on these ships. The last one,
Merchantman?
Yeah, the Merchantman. Yes. Now, the one I want to talk about that's my favorite is the is built by Crusader. Crusader Industries had no development for a long time. The only ship they had was the Starliner, and within the last year and a half, we've just had these great ships, as Cosmic mentioned, that just popped up that they're making now. And the
Pioneer.
But the Genesis style, no, the Pioneer was Consolidated Outland.
Oh, okay.
Crusader. The Genesis Starliner is still one of the ships that I'm really looking forward to doing. It's basically a passenger ship, and I'm curious to see how that's going to be tied into both NPC play as well as real player play as well.
Get all the modules for it.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to have modularity to it, at least it's supposed to. And as you mentioned earlier, Cosmic, the other Crusader line ships that have come out now have really kind of taken the place by storm. A lot of people like those new, what is it called? The Starlifter series, for example. I'm even looking at that base Starlifter because that's one of the, I think it's not the G2, I forget which one it is, the C2, the cargo variant. I'm looking at that one as well. Yeah.
I have the C2.
You got
I
the
have
C2?
the Starliner, by the way.
Okay, yeah, and you just got the Starliner back. Absolutely, that's right. So let's talk real quick about what's in 3.4 coming up. Cosmic, can you give us a little overview about 3.4, what we can look forward to?
Yeah, the big thing for 3.4 right now is the new flight model. That is the most anticipated. Obviously, there'll be some more performance. Every patch we get from now on will enhance the OCS and help us out a lot. There'll be new ships coming out. Now, the 300 series that we anticipated has been delayed to 3.5, but we will get, drum roll, our freelancers.
Yes, freelancers.
Yeah. All 4 models will be flyable in 3.4, they tell us. The big one, though, is the new flight model. There won't be much new content. There won't be a new planet or anything. ArcCorp is in 3.5, stuff like that. But I think a lot of what we're going to be doing, there'll be new missions, mission enhancements, mission improvements. They're working on cargo. Has anybody seen the sneak peek, by the way, of the new cargo? Yes. You go look at your email, get your newsletter, look at the sneak peek, ladies and gentlemen. I've posted it up on Test and some other places. It is terrific. All the cargo news that we've been asking for. This goes back to what Griffin just told you. They listen to us. We have been giving them recommendation after recommendation. Us traders, we're going trading. We want cargo, and we don't have this information, and we want it. So they're going to give it to us. That's a big one.
I'll share this with you.
Model,
But I'm going to share this real quick too, Cosmic. We do have 2 new mission characters that are going to be coming in. One of them is Wallace Clem, and the other one is this one called Skyjacker Armor, which is interesting. So when you guys go to the map, take a look at the road map. Those are 2 new things that are also going to be popping in.
Yep.
And there's something else, isn't there? Oh, another ship, Cosmic, we completely forgot about. The Hawk.
Yeah.
The Anvil Hawk.
The Hawk will be flyable. That's
yeah. So those of you who are out there for that bounty hunting, this is going to be your first step towards that.
Isn't the Hawk the one that contains the 1 police cell?
Yes. Got the seat in the back.
Beginning bounty hunter.
Yes. So the bounty hunters, those folks out there, look forward to that. And also the module for the 600i is also going to be coming out as well.
Yeah, that'll be the luxury 600i.
Yes, the luxury module. Thank you.
Those of you who play in the PTU, when they make it available to everybody, if you have never experienced PTU, now would be your chance in 3.4 because the PTU normally get the Hawk. So test it before you buy it.
Yes, right. Absolutely. This is the time to do it. Absolutely.
I'm kind of looking forward to that little Hawk, and I'm not really into single-seat fighters, but that one kind of interests me.
Here, let me tell you some good stuff. I mean, we're coming into the last quarter of the year, and technically we're supposed to be getting another release, 3.4, in December. And so pretty soon, hopefully, Eva Cotty will be on PTU, and they'll be taking a look at the beginnings of 3.4, and hopefully by holiday season, we will be able to have it on the Test Universe servers and be out there trying out these new items. So to all you Eva Cotty members, we're supporting you. We know you guys are the ones that are the first wave of getting the content to us. And for those of you who are concierge and subscribers, you follow up behind that. And then, of course, everyone else. Please get plenty of your comments about 3.3.6. Anything you see going on in Loreville, yeah, some days you go in Loreville, everything's fine. Other days you go in Loreville, things are crazy. NPCs, I'm totally amazed at Loreville. The amount of activity that's going on in the server now, and yet I'm still getting 40 frames a second. There are hundreds and hundreds of NPCs walking around. There are flashing signs. There's steam. There's things moving around. There are ships flying in and out. And we are getting incredible frame rates. And not to mention the beauty and detail that CIG has put behind this game. And Loreville's just the beginning of it. So guys, you know, go ahead, Archie.
Griffin, you see behind us, MV?
Yes, we are in the bar. We forgot to tell them where we were today, right?
Coffee.
We're in Loreville. We're at the bar. You guys can actually go to the MV lounge and you can sit down. The bartender will pour you a drink and you can actually drink it. And so
good cup of Joe.
Have fun. You know, the new modules, the new habs that we spawn in. But again, we want to encourage you guys to explore the game, go to the rest and relaxation stops, visit the moons, and make sure you fill out those tickets, give as much information as you can to help the game become even better than it is already. So
also go up on Spectrum, the CGI General channel, the devs monitor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you got stuff, they talk about it there. The devs will come in and ask you. They'll talk about it. They listen to everything you say.
Yes, absolutely. And Raytheon, we're glad you got sound. Even though we're starting to wrap up.
You finally got the sound.
Also on Spectrum, ladies and gentlemen, you will see that people, Bayor of Red, for example, and some other people from CIG will put up little, I don't know what you call them, polls. He will put up little questionnaires and tell you, click here, go there, and tell me what you like, what you don't like, why. And he gives you little polls and little questionnaires to fill out. Okay? He collects that personally, and they collate what you tell them to make this item better, worse, whatever. So make sure you go do that for them if you want to contribute. If you want to help change things, tell them why you like it, why you don't like it. He puts them there for a purpose.
Absolutely. All right, well, listen, we're at the end of this month's or week's or quarter show. Once again, I want to thank everybody who tuned in with us and hung out with us this afternoon. To my buddy, ArchieFalcon, as always, thank you for being here today and sharing with us your 80, how many ships was it again? 79? Oh my God.
79. My total crew is 251. 79 pilots, 61 crew members, and 111 other crew.
Archie's going to have a for hire sign up when this game goes live, guys. If you guys want to work for him or make some credits with him, hey, feel free. again to our sage of Star Citizen, Cosmic Trader. Cosmic, as always, appreciate your knowledge, appreciate your enthusiasm about Star Citizen and all that you do for the community. And to those of you with Test Squadron, Best Squadron, appreciate you guys being here today, and we will see you guys when 3.4 comes out. Have a good one, gang.
See you in the verse.
I posted Cosmic's code there again
Thank you
for you guys to